Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm so glad you've joined me today. It has been a while and I will explain what's been going on in my life in a little bit. But first, as promised in my last upload, these products are from 915 Aesthetics, the new company that Rachel A.T. Schmidt, formerly of Cascade Color Works, has started. And I have been really wanting to try these products. From what I understand, everything is very similar to CCW, and if you know me, you know that I really enjoyed her products. So these right here that I'm opening are the liquids. Now, I have already used them. I just kind of put them back in the box so that I could do a little mini unboxing for you so you can see how they were packaged when they were sent. And this box is so beautiful. The packaging is gorgeous. The bottles are so sturdy. I'm going to talk about those in a little bit. But first, let's talk about these colors. This is the 4th of July set that she released, and all 4 colors came in the set. This is Firecracker. It is a beautiful, beautiful red. The blue in this set is called Miss Independence. I love the name. One of my favorite Kelly Clarkson songs, and I love this blue. The next color is Sparkler, and Sparkler is this gorgeous white color with like silver shimmer. Stunning. It is just I love that. And then the last one is a chunky glitter that's called Star Spangled, and it has shards, it has glitters. It's just beautiful. It has red, it has white, it has blue, it has silver. Gorgeous chunky mix. Love it. And I'm going to, just do a little accent with these white sparkly stars that I got on Amazon. I'll link everything down in the description box as always. And I'm going to tell you about what happened to my finger in a little bit. So let me explain what my process is going to be, and then I will fill you in on what's been going on. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do my glitter ombre nail. So my base for this nail is Sparkler. I'm going to lay my finger into it, and I'm going to explain why. The jars that I ordered are a 1/4 ounce jar. They're what she calls her sample size, which is, a very generous sample size in my opinion. However, the jars that they come in, the opening is a little bit too narrow for my nail. My nails are kind of long now. I'm on vacation from school, so I can, go back to my long coffin shape that I love so much. But they are too long to fit into those jars. So I'm using a mini cupcake liner, and I'm going to lay my finger in today. Part of the reason that I'm not pouring over, well, there's a couple of reasons, and I will explain. So because I have an injury on my left hand, and I am right-handed, I'm already fumbly and klutzy, and I was afraid that if I tried to pour over with all of those issues, I would end up making a mess. And it was a good choice, because even though I decided to lay in, I still made a mess. So I am laying my finger into all the colors today and not pouring over. But the other reason is because I wanted you all to see that there is another way to use dip powder. You can dip your finger in the jar, you can do the pour over method, or you can lay your finger in using a cupcake liner or a French dip tray. Say that 10 times fast. But there are other options besides just pouring over and dipping in. And I just thought I would show you that option too, since I was afraid of making such a mess if I tried to pour over. Okay. So here's the process for this glitter ombre. When working with chunky glitters, I don't want to make my nail too thick. So what I did was I did a layer of my dip base, but I only went 2/3 of the way down. That way the glitter wouldn't stick to the lower portion of my nail. Then I did actually dip the free edge into the glitter itself. And then I used my fan brush to complete the ombre look. That way I'm not taking too long trying to, sprinkle the glitter onto the free edge, which I want densely covered anyway. So dipping the free edge is a lot faster, and that way my base doesn't dry before I get to the ombre portion. Then I added a little bit more dip base, and I hand placed some glitters, just a couple, to make sure that it looks exactly the way I want it to. Now I'm going to go in with my clear. I did buy glass from 915 Aesthetics because I wanted to. Usually when I try a new company, I do try to buy their clear just to give it a try. And so I thought I would do that here too. So I am pouring over the clear just because I didn't want to risk getting the glitter into the dip powder. So that's why I'm pouring over. And it is a larger jar, so I felt a little bit more confident in trying to pour over with it. I am using a little baggie, a sample baggie that I have to press the glitters down. I usually use one of those finger protectors that I get from the craft section at the Dollar Tree, but I put them somewhere and I couldn't find them. So I used a baggie instead today. And now I'm going to activate. Now I'm doing all of this because the red and the blue are solid colors, and I did not want to contaminate those beautiful colors with my glitters or my shimmers. So I went through the full process of dipping and ombreing with the glitter, and then I completely encapsulated that in clear and activated. Now I am pressing down again with the baggie over my finger, because if you apply activator over your clear, once you've encapsulated your glitter, and then you give it a minute to partially set, you can use your finger to press down those glitters, and it makes it a much flatter application. It's just a little hack that I've seen a lot of people do, and I've been doing it for a while too, and it really works well. If you have trouble with encapsulating chunky glitters, or with them being too thick, or sticking up and then filing them off, that is a good trick. So give it a try. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to show you one dip in each color in regular time, and then I'm going to fast forward through the rest of the process because it is a bit repetitive and the process is pretty much the same each dip. So let's get into what's been going on. I know that I promised a few weeks ago when I uploaded my last video that once school was out, I would have more time to film and upload and all of that. That would normally have been true, but I've had a lot going on. My daughter, my oldest, has been sick for about a month now, and we've been going back and forth to doctor's appointments, trying to figure out what's going on with her. She's had been on like 3 rounds of antibiotics, and they still have not been able to cure this supposed sinus infection that she has. She's tested negative for strep, negative for COVID, negative for flu. Nobody can figure out what is going on. So it's been a bit frustrating, and the poor thing has just been miserable. So she is finally starting to feel a bit better after antibiotic number 3 and a trip to the ER. But I knew she was really not feeling well because she has got an amazing work ethic and hardly ever calls out sick for work. And she called out twice. So I knew things were not good. And, I just felt like I wanted to be there to support her and all of that. So in the midst of all of that, about a week ago, I sliced my finger open, hence the bandage. The klutz in me strikes again. I was trying to make a dip for a work gathering. My second job was having a barbecue, and I was trying to make some feta and red pepper dip, and you need a food processor for that. Well, I made the dip, everything was going well, and then I was washing the food processor. You know, I wasn't being careless as far as I could tell. I put some water and some soap and I ran it, rinsed everything, and in the process of trying to put it away, my finger hit one of the blades and literally just sliced through it like butter. Not to be gross or give you TMI, but it barely touched me and it created an enormously deep cut. So it wasn't a very big cut, maybe half an inch long, but it was so deep and it would not stop bleeding. So I had to go to urgent care and get stitches. Which, of course, delayed everything because with stitches, I couldn't exactly dip. I managed to remove my extensions, and for the first time in probably 4 years, my nails were naked for a full 7 days. Yeah, I absolutely hated it, and I was itching to get my nails back on. So, unfortunately, I had to wait until my finger healed enough that I didn't experience pain anymore. I just had to keep it as clean as possible and keep, of course, things like alcohol and activator and all of those things away from the cut. So I had to be extremely, extremely careful. It took me a very long time to do that hand, which is why I didn't film it. Hey, I don't know, maybe you guys would have found it interesting to see my process, but it was very, very long and it would have required an incredible amount of editing, which I just didn't have the patience for. So I decided that even though I am a little more awkward using my non-dominant hand, it would be less awkward than dipping on an injured hand. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you have rather have seen me dip on my usual filming hand? I thought maybe it would be fun for you to see me use my non-dominant hand. I don't do that very often on this channel, so here you go. Thank you, food processor, for injuring my filming hand. Okay, now that that is all explained, here we are at the end of the dipping process. I am going to encapsulate all of my nails with clear, and then I'm going to activate everything. I'm only going to show you this one nail because, again, it is a repetitive process, but I did want to show you at least one nail over this solid color so that you could see the texture of the clear dip powder. As you can see, it is quite dense and a little bit grainy looking when you first dip. However, as soon as I activated, that graininess went away. So I don't think that there is anything wrong with that clear dip powder. It worked perfectly fine for me. I do generally like my clear dip powders to be a little bit more finely milled, but even though it is a little bit more grainy at first, when I apply activator, as you can see, that completely goes away. So it works perfectly fine. It's just about personal preference, that's all. After activation, I will file and shape everything off camera, and then I'll come back and we'll apply some star stickers. So the thing about working with your non-dominant hand, yeah, it was a struggle. So you can see here I'm using my right hand to try to peel these stickers off. But then I had to switch hands to apply them, and getting the tweezers at the right angle and all of that. I was on the struggle bus with applying these stickers. The other hand went so much smoother. Just be thankful for the magic of editing, because y'all would have been dying watching me fumble through this. Oh my goodness. I think I wasted like 5 or 6 different stickers. I dropped so many of them. I couldn't get them to stick because I couldn't get my hand at an angle. Oh, it was a mess. But I saved you from all of that, and am only showing you when I finally did get them to stick, because who wants to sit here for 20 minutes watching me try to get these stickers to stick? I'm sure you don't want to see that. So what you can't hear right now is my audible sigh of relief when I finally got those stickers to stick. And now I'm applying a layer of my base, as I always do after I've applied decals or stickers of any kind, because it protects them from the activator, and then it allows me to apply my top coat right over them without having to encapsulate in clear. Once I've covered the entire nail in dip base, I let that dry for about 2 to 3 minutes, and I'm going to activate the other 3 nails as I'm waiting, and then I will go back and activate the nails with the stickers. I allowed the activator to dry for about 2 minutes, and then I used a lint-free pad, lint-free wipe, whatever you want to call them, to wipe off each nail, and then I apply my top coat. I have to say that I am pretty happy with the liquids. The dip base, it's a bit thin. I kept having to wipe my brush off. I really like to use a minimal amount of dip base when I'm applying my dip, because I like the application to be thin. So I had to keep kind of wiping off the brush back into the bottle, because I didn't want to flood my cuticle area with the base liquid. But the application itself was pretty easy. That was my only gripe about the dip base, was that it is very thin. It probably will thicken up over time as I use it. That happens with a lot of base liquids. When you first get them, they're somewhat thin because they're brand new, and as you use them, they do thicken up a little bit. So I don't really mind it much. I have used the Cascade Color Works dip liquids way back when they first released them, and I do remember really liking them. These liquids are supposedly the exact same liquids as the Cascade Color Works ones. They were not my favorite dip liquids of all time. As you know, I do get dip flu from regular liquids usually, and there's only a few exceptions to that rule, double dipped being one of them. But these did not give me a bad case of dip flu. For about a couple of hours after I finished the mani, I did have a little bit of a stuffy nose and some sneezing, but by the next day that was gone. Other liquids, I can be sick with dip flu, feeling like I have a cold or really bad allergies for 5 to 7 days after I've done a mani. That was not the case with these. I had like a slight tickle in my nose and some sneezing, a little bit of stuffiness, but by the next day it was gone. So not terrible as far as regular dip liquids go. But I like them. The top coat, it was extremely shiny when I first applied it, and once it dried, it pretty much stayed shiny. In pictures, I noticed that I could see a little bit of kind of, I don't know, streaking or wrinkling in the top coat, and I don't know, like when light reflects off of it, I can kind of see that, but honestly, you'd have to really be looking for that to notice it. I really don't have any complaints about the liquids. I would use them again. As far as the dip powders, I've always loved Cascade Color Works dip colors. Now these are the first colors that I have used from 915 Aesthetics, so this is my first experience with these colors. I don't want to really compare them to Cascade Color Works because I'm not sure if the formula is the same or if it was changed slightly. I will say that both the blue and the red were slightly sheer. I could have probably done a third layer in them, but I have no complaints. They're still gorgeous, and I am absolutely thrilled with the way this mani came out. I love the glitter. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I do plan on uploading again very soon. Thank you so much for your patience and for coming back and hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this video, please click the like button and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.